Like we watch, listen to CD 101.9 or whatever, and I was making pause tapes. I ain't know what the hell I was doing. I just kept. It's like when you catch a break and you just keep looping it over and over and over and over till you got a full beat. Right. So, back then I didn't know what I was doing. I was 13, 14, but Scratch said you doing that. That's when you started becoming a producer. So I guess that's how I started. But like when I really, really, really got serious, ASR 10 is what I started on. But my first drum machine that I owned was an MPC 2000 XL. As far as keyboards, I play a lot. So I use whatever keyboard. Like I had the Triton, the Trinity, the Roland Phantom, the Motif, whatever I could get my hands on. Be in Sony Studio. I have one session in Sony Studio. Then across the street we had the Hit Factory back in New York. So sometimes we'll run back and forth. Had two setups, and I just used whatever. As long as I had like the MPC was my brain. That was my brainchild. That was the heart. I could use any keyboard. So right now, right now, everything is Logic. Logic, everything. Logic. I'm a Logic. I switched to Logic because I started traveling and touring, and I started traveling and touring, so I couldn't bring that heavy ass MPC with me, and
Nah, come on, man, don't do it. Don't do it
just real. Like you never know. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. You never know when you get a call. So at least I got my Logic and I keep a little mini keyboard with me. I'm always ready to go. So pretty much that's my setup right now, and I got hella plugins.
And you trigger through your computer.
Yes.
Your laptop and do what you do.
So that's my setup now.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna take it back even further. When I first started, I started with a Lexus AR-16 drum machine and an Akai S950 sampler.
Yeah, he said that. God, man, hold on, he come back to a God. Come on, man, don't do that. They don't even understand that. That's like talking about vinyl.
Let me tell you, I think I went through about 3 billion 3.5-inch floppies. But now, fast forward now, it's everything is strictly software. I'm in Acid, and we just make it work. We make it work. Plugins, my favorite plugins right now. My favorite plug-in is Cooking Soul. So if y'all don't know nothing about Cooking Soul,
heard that, right?
Google that.
Producers, y'all heard that? Yeah.
Cooking Soul. Wow.
Diamond right there.
I would never guess that. That's fantastic.
That's diamond right there.
That's fantastic.
Hey, producers in the room or artists also, we have note cards on y'all seats. Make sure y'all writing y'all questions down, so we will collect them at the end. Because we're going to do a little segment with these gentlemen. They're going to go behind the music a little bit for us and just kind of elaborate more on their sound. But now we got a little bit of fun stuff out the way. Now let's get serious. Let's talk about breaking in to the music business. I am a producer. I just started making beats maybe 6 months ago. What is the direction? This is an example there, sir. Before he throw me out the building. He throw me out the building.
I love it.
Anyway, I just started making beats 6 months ago. I want to map out the direction I want to go into the music industry. So what would be an ideal path? I mean, y'all can kind of elaborate maybe how y'all went about it, the angle y'all went in, or just advice for these up-and-coming producers for them to break into the industry. We can start. I'd like to hear from everybody, but anybody can start it off. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, one of my strategies was the first thing I had to realize is I had to balance creative time with like networking time, because I was the producer at first. Man, I made 1,000 beats this week. But I realized I had to get in rooms like this room right here, go to shows, meet artists, network, pass the beats, to the managers, etc. Then I found myself in a space where, like, when artists came to town, if they got booked at the nearest club, I about to feature myself. And then I put the song out myself, but I would present it as if the artist got a beat for me. And that was my marketing strategy.
Well, mine was a little bit like his also. I was real big on, still real big on network. I was the producer, I was the engineer, I was the camera guy. I was the photographer. Hell, if you needed your grass cut, I was pulling up. You know what I'm saying? So my mindset was, if I wanted to be here, I got to learn all the tricks of the trade to still get here. So when I first got my situation with like making a big placement, I was doing a video for BTS for 50 Cent and Young and May. So it was like, that was my way in the door, and that's when I came back and I was working at a studio where celebrities and artists was always there. So I made it my business to always be there, network, get names, get numbers, and if I didn't get your name or number, I just had to remember your face, like my guy right here. Like everywhere we go, if I see his face, it don't matter what his name is at this point, I remember this guy. So it came to that point where when they gave me my chance and everybody was like, oh, this is 20 the producer, everybody already knew who I was because of my network.
That's dope. Dope. Bleak Crew. You gotta be out here. Now you gotta be out here, man, to recognize.
I think in my situation, I started, 99 was my first placement. That was a different time. I was an intern at Entertainment Records. That's Cameron, Charlie Baltimore, Lance Rivera. I was an intern there. I was the Doja nigga getting everybody coffee, doing what I gotta do to find my way into the studio. I would sit with Six Figure Digger and ask them what that do, what that do, what that, asking questions, picking their brain, and they would just sit, they would let me sit there and watch, you know? Always asking questions. One day, I'm in the studio, and I'm just playing on the MPC. I had this dope drum program. Rest in peace, Chris Lighty walked in. And just asked, what are you doing with that? A young 18-year-old me not knowing a damn thing, like, shrug my shoulders, like, whatever. Yo, let me call one of my writers in and one of my other producers in and finish this. This is hot. That led to the first placement. After that, you know, the next placement took a couple years, but you know, it gave me time to practice my craft because it was like, okay, I'm in. 1 foot is in. I got signed. But it wasn't until I signed with Dame Grease. I signed under him, and that's when everything fucking happened. I signed with Dame Grease, Vacant Lot, and that's when I started Mary J. Blige, the LL rec, like a lot of my joints. You know, so pretty much with me, I was just always at the labels. Like I was always at Rockefeller, I was always at Def Jam, Murder Inc., Loud Records, you know, like New York. It was, during that time it was different because you had direct access to the labels, so I was just going everywhere, taking meetings, building with everybody, like just starting from street team to getting in and now to this day, like some of the people from entertainment, they was like, yeah, we remember what you was doing, now look at you. Like, you know, I was hustling, you know. It was just different back then. That's my come up.
I think the biggest thing, to answer your question, I think the, yeah, I know. That's you.
I thought we were talking about how we got on.
Nah, bro.
What did he ask how we got on?
Listen, for all the producers in the room, the biggest thing that you really want to work on is networking and relationships. You gotta build these relationships.
Yeah.
You gotta get with producers like these fine gentlemen up here and pick their brains. Like Maestro was just saying, pick their brains. Find out what they doing, find out what they got going on, find out when the next conference like this is, and just pull up. You gotta, and these independent artists that are in here, I don't care how big you are, you ain't never too big for none of these dudes, man. And the same way you got your first break, you can give somebody else their first break too.
Real talk. Real talk.
Great opportunities, man.
It's all about opportunity.
Yeah.
Never want to miss that opportunity when it comes up.
Exactly.
So, 6 months making beats. Talk with these gentlemen. So I got like a little map. I want to go about it. But you know what? I'm kind of that bedroom producer. You know, I'm kind of stuck on them tight beats. So, you know, how do y'all feel about that? The tight beat type of producer. You know what I'm saying? Just posting stuff on YouTube or whatnot, is that and the third. What's y'all take on that? Curious.
Curious.
Them tight beat niggas.
Yeah.
I hate them niggas. You tight beat, you already pigeonholed yourself as a certain type of producer. All right. So, boom. I had a session. Somebody asked me, yo, I want to beat like Bobby Valentino's Anonymous. I said, call Timberland then. That's not what I do. I feel that's what tight beats do. You know, it works for some people. I'm not a fan of it because that's like, I'm from that era when niggas got punched in their face for jacking.
Ooh, put it out there.
Am I lying? Like, yo, niggas used to get punched in their face for biting. I'm not a fan of that, you know, but I can't hate. It sounds like I'm hating, but I'm just not a fan because it doesn't, to me, it doesn't display who you really are. Swiss Beats type beat. Just Blaze type beat. Metro Boomin type beat. Like, you know, it doesn't show me who you are. That's just my opinion. I'm not a fan of it.
I will say something to that also. I mean, I agree with him because I've been in the studio where somebody was like, yo, let me get a DaBaby type beat. And I'm over here like,
Jockey man style.
That's like, yo, if they come to you, if they coming to you, you know what I do. So you coming to me for me.
but on the flip side is like, I'm from an older generation, you know what I'm saying? So like now the kids when they grow up, they already hearing this type of music. It's like your homie made it in the basketball game, now everybody want to play basketball now, you know what I'm saying? Because they looking at it as a way out.
Exactly.
So it's like, I can't, you know what I'm saying, throw it away too much. It is aggravating for the simple fact, it's like, well, if you wanted that type of beat, what you come to me for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm known for this, so why'd you come for me for this? So, I mean, I usually upcharge for it, you know what I'm saying? But I will say this though, like everybody got to find their way, and just like I was learning in the studio how to make beats, usually when I was learning how to be more creative, I was collabing with other producers who did a different sound that I never done before. So it's like me learning how to make different beats came organically, vice versa. Somebody's like, I'm on YouTube because I like NBA